Hi there, I'm Jason Baker, and today we're talking zombies. You know, creepy crawlies. And they're not the typical zombies that you would find in, let's say, The Walking Dead. But they can be. So, there's a bunch of zombies. Main thing, mindless animated corpses controlled by their creators. Usually undead, wizards, or priests. The condition of the corpse has not changed during animations. The body was missing a limb, the zombie's missing a limb. Difficult to get fresh bodies means that zombies are in usually sorry shape. Missing hair, flesh, sometimes even bones. It affects their movement and makes them jerky and uneven, which is why you always see a zombie kind of, when they walk, they have a weird gait about them. They usually wear the clothing they died in. Rotting stench from them can be noticeable up to probably about 100 feet away, depending upon the condition of the body. They can't talk, they're mindless. They have been known to utter low moans, though, when I'm unable to complete an assigned task. So now that we got zombies, like what they are, out of the way, how do they work in combat? Well, first things first, they move slow. They're always going to strike last, and this can vary depending upon edition, but I think it's stayed true throughout the years that they strike last. They're only given simple single-phrase commands. They always fight until they're called off or destroyed. Nothing short of a priest can turn them back. They move in a straight line towards their opponents, arms outstretched, seeking to basically beat them to death. They're immune to sleeps, charms, holds, just like death magic, poisons, cold-based spells. Pretty much universal amongst undead. And holy water will inflict damage to them. It varies upon edition, like how much it will actually do. Where do you find them? You find them typically graveyards, dungeons, just kind of morbid places. Anywhere you can find somebody evil, usually you can find zombies. They're not natural creatures. They don't really have a role in nature or anything. And it'd be kind of true throughout most of undead to see that. So there are some different types of zombies, and that's what makes zombies really interesting. Is one of the old-time favorites is the Juju zombie. They're made when wizards drain life force from humanoid creatures with a drain energy spell, or an energy drain spell. What happens is like when the rest of your levels essentially are taken away, like say you get hit by a vampire or something, you'll drain levels. Well, when you're hit with an energy drain spell and it drains your last level, you're dead, but you're not at the same time. You become a Juju zombie, and the skin is hard, gray, leathery. They do sometimes have a spark of intelligence, so like they're not non-intelligent. Hateful lights burn in their eyes. As they realize their condition, they pretty much just want to destroy everything living. They understand to full extent sentences, instructions with conditions, and they'll even employ simple tactics or strategies. Since they became zombies at the moment of death, the bodies tend to be in better condition. They use normal initiative rules, so they won't strike last. They're dexterous enough to use normal weapons. You can find these zombies equipped with normal weapons, although they have to be specifically commanded to do so. They can hurl weapons like javelins and spears. They can fire crossbows. You'll find all manner of sorts of different things for these guys to use. Their dexterity actually allows them to climb walls, as in the older editions as a thief. In the newer editions, it should give them maybe some abilities to be stealthy, stuff like that. And they just are more dexterous, basically, since they're not a pile of missing bones and rotting flesh. A lot of the sinew and muscle is still intact. The animating force of them is strongly tied to like otherworldly planar stuff. So basically, long story short, in older editions it takes +1 weapons or better to hit them. Newer editions, I'm not 100% sure on how that is. Regardless of the magic on the weapon, edged and cleaving weapons will inflict normal damage, but blunt and piercing, they deal half. So they're actually the opposite of a skeleton. Where the blunt would cause normal damage on a skeleton, blunt and piercing only do half damage on these guys. They're immune to psionics, illusions, all the other mind-affecting spells that the other undead are. Electricity and magic missiles, which is kind of cool. They're one of the few things in the games that magic missiles and electricity don't really bother. Fire causes half damage to them usually too. The last one I want to kind of cover is the sea zombie, and these are reanimated corpses of drowned victims, or also known as drowned ones or drowned ones. Basically, people who died at sea and are reanimated will come about as these. They're rumored to be animated by angry sea gods a lot of the times, since how's a wizard gonna find these things? So they're a really anomaly to begin with, which is really weird to say, but they're an anomaly for an abomination. You won't find them typically that often, as they're not, in the machinations of some evil wizard or anything like that. The forces that raise them, you can kind of come up with as you see fit, because, like I said, how would a wizard or a cleric find a sunken ship and raise the bodies? I mean, I guess it's not impossible, it's just highly improbable. The appearance matches their name. They're very bloated, discolored. The flesh is kind of dripping with foul water. They have empty eye sockets. Tongues are frequently protruding from blackened bluish lips. The stench of decay is so disgusting that anybody coming within 20 feet usually makes a save versus poison. And if you fail your save, you're nauseated. It affects how you can fight. It's just not fun to fight. Really good though for a change up of zombies. If you're used to throwing normal zombies, using juju zombies and sea zombies would really throw a curveball to your players for sure. They move slowly and clumsily with a shambling gait. In water, they can swim with frightening speed though, and that's something to keep in mind, that maybe they can swim up to a ship and board the ship and things like that. So it makes for some really cool encounters. They have an abiding hatred for the living. Attack them at any opportunity. They often show surprising cunning, luring ships onto rocks and attacking the sailors while they try to save themselves from the wreck. They a lot of times attack ship while they lie in anchor, climbing aboard the vessels. And they try to drive sailors overboard, where they can deal with them more easily. They attack with weapons typical of sailors: short swords, daggers, hooks, clubs, belaying pins, etc. Because of the unnatural strength, a lot of the times they'll end up dealing more damage than the typical zombie would. And they have a chance to cause disease just due to the fact that what drips off of them is a lot of the times riddled with bacteria and other nasty things. Fire and magical fire only do half damage because the skin is waterlogged, and basically it's just not combustible. Lightning, electrical, and cold actually inflict double damage. Now, these are the first guys we've come across for undead where cold actually does something, and it does double damage here. They're immune to sleep and charm, illusions, other mind-altering. The one of the things to note too is that because a lot of the times the enigmatic forces that make these guys aren't clerics or wizards, they in older editions can't be turned because we don't know what a lot of times they say like an elder god or an evil god themselves had raised these things. So to turn them, it would be an outright insult to a fellow god to turn their creations. So they can't be turned. They actually have to be beaten in combat. Many of the humans who were priests when they were alive retained their powers as undead. So there's a good chance that these guys can be priests and stuff too, from like up to a certain level. You can have it set up that they could be of some evil mythos. I know we've played it before where we've used them from the Cthulhu mythos, which is kind of interesting. You can kind of spin that in, that great old one, if you're making your own campaign world or whatever. And they are capable of communication amongst themselves. They have telepathy amongst themselves. And the verbal components, if they're using spells, are like whispers and like not intelligible or anything like that. So where would you find them? Obviously at sea, along shorelines. The one thing to note though is that they will not stray more than 100 yards from water. So that's something that you can have as a fail-safe plan for your encounters if your players do retreat, that they're not going to be chased to the ends of the earth by these things, because they are pretty nasty. But they're definitely a stronger, meaner zombie to throw at your players, and throwing them out at sea would definitely give them a run for their money, I think. So that's in short zombies. We'll I don't know what we're gonna go on to next. We might talk vampires, wights, gas, ghouls. I'm not sure. We'll keep with the undead for a little while. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And thanks for watching.